right, so hello everyone. This is our podcast for the EDU 5313 assignment. We're doing our podcast on the differing experiences that we've had in the classroom this year in terms of dealing with student behaviors, classroom management, and the adjustments that we've made throughout the year. So I'm going to now give the floor to Zoe.
Okay, hello. So I just am going to start off by introducing myself. My name is Zoe Riggs. I'm a first year teacher. I currently teach 7th grade social studies in the North Kansas City School District in Missouri. So the district I'm in is pretty large. I am at one of 4 middle schools. And something that I love about my middle school is that there's over 1,000 students in it between 7th and 8th grade. So it's just so diverse with its different cultures and religions, and it's something that I love teaching and I love learning about and I love educating students about. And overall, I think it's been an amazing first year so far.
So I'm Alex Facciaponti. I'm also a first-year teacher. I am starting out in Patchogue Medford School District, which is on Long Island in New York, and I'm currently teaching 8th grade special education English. Funny story though, I am just certified in general ed self-studies, so this has been a challenge to say the least, but I am pushing through and almost getting there. Also, something very unique with my school, Zoe, you kind of mentioned with yours, very diverse. There's about 600 students in my school, so a little bit smaller than yours. A very diverse student base, majority Hispanic students, so that's also been cool to see with the new cultures there, but definitely challenging and trying to figure it all out.
I'm Ashley Hudson, and I just finished my 3rd year teaching. So here in Oklahoma, I'm now considered a career teacher. I'm not on probation anymore. And I teach 6th and 7th grade social studies, not in the same class. 6th grade is one part of the world, 7th is the other. And I also have coached 7th and 8th grade girls track sprinters. But I teach in the very, very bottom of Oklahoma. I teach in Ardmore, but it's called Plainview Public Schools. It's a really small school, kind of rural. Our graduating class size is usually about 110, 115. So it's pretty small. It is very white, very Baptist. We don't have a whole lot of diversity in my school at all, really. It's mostly white.
So I know for our podcast, we wanted to kind of dive into how this year has went, kind of focusing on behavioral management, our styles, kind of student behaviors, and going off of that. So for me, for the beginning of the year, I kind of, since I'm a first year teacher, I went in it with like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. This is what's going to happen. And reality check, none of that happened. So as I was kind of learning the kids, understanding how my school worked, I had to kind of readjust what I was doing based off of what my kids were doing. And I had a great mentor teacher who kind of helped me set that up in the very beginning of the year and kind of helped me readjust. And so as we get into later on in the year, you'll see, oh, my strategies have definitely been changed and adjusted. And it's not going to follow the game plan that I had in my head because every single day is new and middle schoolers are crazy.
Yes, they are.
Yep, definitely are. So for me personally, I started out as just a regular permanent sub with only student teaching experience. So regulating behaviors for me was tough. The students are going to challenge you right away, and you have to not crumble under the pressure. But on the fly, I was able to think of some effective classroom management stuff, trying to obviously build effective relationships with students. I feel like that's just number one, very important. And I say that, and then the next thing I'm going to say is actually lying for the greater good. If there's an assignment and they're like, oh, do we have to do this? Is it for a grade? Yep, it's for a grade. And it sounds silly, you shouldn't lie to your students, but for the greater good, to get them to actually do something, you kind of have to do it sometimes. Proximity too, I was always constantly surveying the room, walking around to make sure that they're at least doing something. And even using their lingo against them, at the beginning of the year, they loved using the word aura. So anytime they wouldn't stop talking, I would say, whoever talks next loses aura, and then instantly silent. So it's funny. I know it sounds weird, very unconventional, but it works at the end of the day. So that was me as a sub. And then my whole life changed in October. Then I became a leave replacement for the special education English class, and there's a lot more substantial behaviors in that class. A lot of animosity build up between these students over the years. So first week was rough, but luckily I had such great colleagues to help me get these positive reinforcement techniques through punch cards, and it basically changed everything. I'm forever grateful for my colleagues. So that's kind of my intro to the year.
Mine, like all of us, we start off expecting the best year ever, and my seventh graders were good all year. They kind of knew me, knew what to expect, and our school it's really like its own small little community. Everybody knows everybody. Kids generally start pre-K and go the whole time here. So they've known each other their whole lives, and they know the families. And my son went to school there, so they've known me as well. So seventh grade was fine. You have those group of kids that are always a little bit more rowdy, and somehow all of the star athletes get put in the same class. So that's always fun, but it is manageable. Sixth grade for me this year was really, really, really tough. We knew coming in that there were a lot of challenging behaviors with this sixth grade group. We had a lot of kids on IEPs and 504 plans, and a lot of those weren't necessarily for learning challenges, they were for behaviors. And I have not really had to deal with that, so that was like day by day. What's working, what's not working, what works for this one doesn't work for this one. So I ended up doing the secret student, where I know who the secret student is for each class. They don't know who it is. The next day they get candy and they get a bonus point on their next test. And then at the end of the year, whenever they stopped caring about that because they knew that everybody's already been chosen, I ended up doing like a class by class. Whoever has the best behavior is going to get whatever at the end of the year. And that seemed to work. They would still need reminders, and those reminders generally came from their classmates. Like, hey, we want to win. Shut up. Stop talking. But those two seem to work. They want to win something, rather than just like, I need you to be quiet because that's what I'm telling you to do doesn't work. Like, they need something in return. So that's what we did. They win lots of Jolly Ranchers and bonus points.
Candy always does the trick for middle schoolers. I'm telling you, I just like to chuck it at them sometimes. Going off of that first year start, kind of coming back after Christmas break, I felt amazing. I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Half a year left. The kids, however, said, we're ready to, and they chose chaos. It's like they came back. They completely forgot all of the procedures, all of the rules, all the expectations that we had set in place and we had worked for. And I quickly realized I need a game plan. Like, this is not going to work. How do I get them to go back and remember? And so I'm not going to lie, when they came in, if they came into the room and they were up out of their seats, loud, rowdy, if they didn't have their journals, which we used to start every single class with as like a, hey, you know what to do it. I made them walk out in the hallway. I made them come back in, try it again. If it was a lunch hour, then I definitely threatened my lunch hour with being like, hey, we'll fully be late if we can't get this down. Like, if it takes us till lunch to get this together, we will. And it's just kind of like reinforcing like, hey, this is how we do it. You coming back from break, you forgetting all your expectations? Absolutely not. Like, I'm already familiar with some of your parents. I'll give them another ring. Like, I'm not going to play about that kind of stuff. And so I then also have understood that with those breaks, students, they talk, they are friends, they're not friends, and they bring all of that into the classroom. And I quickly had to figure that out, especially with middle school girls. Not saying the boys didn't have drama, but theirs looked a little different, and they typically weren't the ones coming to my class in tears because this girl said this, or this girl said this, or this boy is hurting their relationship. And I honestly wasn't quite ready for that. And so that was a learning period that, hey, after these big breaks, they're going to be bringing stuff back with them. And that was a big adjustment, and I kind of had to add that into my management. I'm like, hey guys, we got to leave all of that at the door.
Yeah, no, that's very fair, and definitely can relate to a lot of the things you just mentioned. Personally, for me, getting it was so strange though. Like going towards Christmas break, everyone's in such a good mood. Everyone is more motivated than ever. The kids are in a good mood. Teachers are in a good mood. Admin's in a good mood. Like everyone's on point. And I don't know. For me personally, that was like the most fun to like time to like ever teach in. I never had that experience in my student teaching, like to actually teach during that time. So that was a really cool experience. And yeah, everyone was on task. I didn't even have to do much management. It felt great. But again, building those effective classroom relationships, obviously, as I had more time with these students, it allowed me to build that up, which was awesome. But then when you get back from break, there's some slippage. And it particularly was going on within one of my main classes, and especially with kids sleeping. I think maybe after the long break, they had been staying up probably very late, and there was like almost half of one of my classes just like all knocked out. And I'm like, all right, guys, like this is like I could understand maybe like 1, 2 or something like that, but like what's going on? So now my TA even suggested it. You need to call these parents. And I was terrified because as a first year teacher, you don't want to call parents, but you have to do it. You have to rip it off like a Band-Aid. And that's what I did. And at first I was very scared because I thought there was going to be pushback from the parents. But if anything, they were very grateful. They were like, oh, well, like, thank you so much for like looking out for my kid. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll make sure that they're getting to bed early now. So, and that helped a lot too. So there's a lot of adjustments that you got to make, especially within your first year of teaching. Things that seem scary, you gotta just do it.
Yeah, I will agree that like week 2, I guess ours is about 3 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like the kids are really good.
Yeah.
But they know they've got another 2.5-week break coming up. We get to do the week long of dressing up days. So everything's kind of chill for those 3 weeks. And we always do our semester testing the very last 2 days of school. So they know that they have to kind of get locked in, as they say, for that. But then after Christmas, it's like they woke up in a brand new world. Forgot everything about school, forgot all the rules, can't walk down the hallway without touching somebody, like can't come in the classroom without smacking the door frame, just like feral. Absolutely feral. But I've done the same that Zoe was saying. Like, if you can't come in here the right way, the way that you know you're supposed to, we will all go right back out and do it again. We can do it 3, 4, 5 times until you figure it out. And they don't like that because people that are still in the hallway can see them, and that's embarrassing. My 6th grade just never really picked up on it. But we also start eligibility around that time, and 6th grade is the first year that they can play school sports, and they do not want to be on the ineligible list. But they also know, because we're a small school, this is super, super helpful. Like, I am one text away from your head coach, and your practice tomorrow can be horrible if you don't get it together. So that's also super helpful whenever we can lean into the athletic side of it. But my classroom management style hadn't really changed. We still did the same couple of things. Some of them you just teach them different day by day because they wake up in a brand new world every day, and that's more of your like sped kids. And you really can't plan for what's going to happen that day. It is what it is, and you roll with it.
Yeah, kind of ending the year. I know, Ashley, I think you're done, right?
Yes, we got done a week ago. Tomorrow will be a week.
Yeah, and then I know tomorrow's my last day. So like as I'm kind of closing out this year, I think the best way to describe it is because like I said, it's my first year. I'm exhausted. Like I'm waking up same time, nothing new, but it's like all of this, like dealing with the behaviors and trying to manage them. I swear, like it's so exhausting, and it's something I'm going to have to get used to as I go on. And then Ashley, kind of like you said, the best way to describe them, like for me at this point in the year, they're feral. Like they are going crazy. They're tired of me. I'm tired of them. And I think kind of using that athletic part of like, hey, you have spring sports. That definitely helped with playing into my management. Like some of my boys who were more rowdy, if they did track and field, I was texting their track teacher. I was like, ad laps. give them 4 more. We're not doing that. And they came back to me the next day and they apologized because they didn't want to be off their sport. And I quickly have picked up on that as like, hey, I can use this under my belt when I'm trying to manage certain behaviors and certain students. And so that's going to be something I'm kind of looking forward to as the years go on and I pick up on that. And then, yeah, just to kind of end it off, I've learned as a first-year teacher, it's so important with consistency that if you say you're going to do something, you have to follow through. Or they think you're bluffing, they'll catch your bluff, and then they all will take advantage of you. And that's something that I kind of want to work on for next year. But I think kind of to end this year off, I think it went really well for a first year. So
yeah, I mean, I could attest to that too. Definitely, you need the consistency because there are times I'll put a threat out there and then I don't follow through, and then they fully take advantage. But yeah, I feel like I've had a really good year as well. But towards the end of the year now, because I still have a full month left, which is crazy in itself. But there's just frustration. Everyone is like done. They're burnt out. For my kids specifically, they're in the 8th grade, so they're ready to get to the high school. They're sick of this place. The thing is too, like as a first year teacher, you kind of have to humble yourself. Like you got to realize I'm still learning at the end of the day. Every day I feel like I learned something new. So, like, even though, yeah, there was a lot of good things I did this year, there's a lot of things that I can still improve upon. And that's, for me personally, I think, implementing new classroom management ideas. Like, I saw this TikTok of this younger teacher who uses yellow cards in terms of behavior. So, in soccer, if, like, you have 1 yellow card, it's like a warning. But then if you have 2 yellow cards, then it's, like, some type of foul or consequence. You get kicked out of the game or whatever. But what I can do in the classroom, because a lot of my students are very into soccer. So I think like this could be very relatable to them and they could notice seeing it like with a visual. So if I walk by their desk and they're doing something that they're not supposed to, put down a yellow card, they're like, oh, all right, I got a warning. Now I have to stop. If I don't, then I'll get some type of consequence. And then like Zoe, like you mentioned, I need to now follow through on said consequence. So that's definitely what I need to work on. But again, a really great year and still some things that I got to improve upon.
Yeah, definitely the consistency. And if you don't actually mean it and intend to follow through, just don't even bother. If you do this, you're going to get lunch detention and you only do it for a week. Like they pick up on that and take advantage of it so quickly. And that was something that I had to learn as well. But yeah, consistency is definitely key. I know you guys don't have kids, but I do. It's the same thing. Like, they will call your bluff. If you don't mean it, don't threaten it. Something that I did do at the end of the year, because, end of the year, everybody's checked out, they want to go home, is I would start my timer on my Apple Watch. If they were being loud, not sitting down, not focused, and they wouldn't know I'm just starting it. And somebody would kind of pick up like, oh, she started her watch. So however long seconds they were wasting of my time, then I said, I'll waste your time and you can stay till after the bell rings. And they hated that, especially last hour because school's out, but you can't go. And then I had one girl threaten me with her attorney. I said, here, give me the number. But yeah, consistency for sure. You have to be consistent. The end of our school year was kind of like everybody else. They're done. We're done. We all need a break from each other. Hopefully these 6th graders will mature a little bit over the summer. Hopefully.
Yeah. But Alex, good luck with that last month you have left.
Yeah,
we'll keep our fingers crossed that you can make it through that.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a full month. Like, there's like a bunch of 4-day weeks, and then like there's like an 8th grade barbecue. So it's like, it's not like the worst, but it's still just like, all right, I'm ready. But we'll be all right. But yeah, so I think that's gonna conclude our podcast here. It was a really fun time. Thank you guys.